This episode of Live at the Blue Box has been brought to you by Tweaked Audio.
To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Welcome to Live at the Blue Box, everybody. We are doing a special, just a short, 1 hour. For those of you that don't know, you can go by, Brent. Thanks, man. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, we do live podcasting out of the Blue Box Cafe. It's kind of known for that at this point. And we typically have a show called Live at the Blue Box. Next Saturday, we are doing our regular Live at the Blue Box, which is, we always theme them, it is Harry Potter night. I don't know if you've ever heard of Harry Potter. He's a boy wizard. Yeah, okay. Come and get educated about Harry Potter. So that will be next week. But this week what we did was we did a Micro-Con, getting smaller as we stand here. And what we do is we get local artists and writers and cool people and rich. And we do... we do...
all your jabs you want.
That's right. Well, you don't have a mic yet. And we do like a Micro-Con. So it's a chance to meet the artists and talk to them and get stuff signed and in the future get commissions and buy gifts and all sorts of fun stuff. In the past, when we have done these, we have done, with a Micro-Con has actually been this. We've done a podcast where we've interviewed everybody. We kind of changed the format, and this year we decided, let's do kind of just a roundtable. We're just going to kind of chat. It might go for an hour. It might go for 10 minutes. We'll find out. But it's a chance for you guys to kind of meet these guys. If you have questions, I want to hear them. I want you to shout stuff out. Couple of quick things before we get going. I don't know if you knew about it, but GeeksCon, the first GeeksCon, which is a local homebrewed Comic-Con, happened a couple of weeks ago. GeeksCon 2 is happening what? Is it March? March. So come to GeeksCon 2. It's going to be at something down there. So come back here, look at the signs. It'll be up. And follow Blue Box on social media and follow GeeksCon. It's Geeks with a Z to find that out. Or my preference is follow my company. Follow at SMG Pods on Twitter. Follow at SMG Pods on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. It's Southgate Media Group. Follow me. I'm R. Southgate. Please follow there, and you'll find out when we're doing special events. One more thing. So we've got Harry Potter Night coming up next Saturday, and then on November 23rd, look how prepared I am. November 23rd, it's a Friday night. We are doing a fundraiser. So we do these kind of things, and we make no money. Right? If you were out here and you heard me talking to these guys, that's what I was talking about. Because we don't charge for stuff. We want you to be able to come and enjoy this. And, we usually have a donation box out. I don't have one tonight. But we do fundraisers where we do parody readings of TV shows. And we call it Must Hear TV. November 23rd, the day after Thanksgiving, we are doing our Thanksgiving, a very special Thanksgiving, Must Hear TV. We bring actors in and we read TV shows. We are reading The Deep Fried Thanksgiving from Gilmore Girls. We are reading, I'm going to be Luke. We are reading, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the Thanksgiving Cheers where they have the food fight, which is hilarious. And best of all, we're doing Turkeys Away from WKRP, which if you don't know it, you will find out how hilarious this episode is. So please come to that. We don't charge for it once again, but there is a suggested donation because it's a fundraiser to help pay for stuff like ink and posters and stuff. So there you go. All right, let's talk to you guys. We're going to play Pass the Mic a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we'll pull it down, but if you guys want to scoot down, let's start out with... Should I get another mic? Do we need another mic? Oh, do you have to leave? You got to leave. We're going to have to start with Zach.
No, I was making room for people. I can hang out.
Okay.
For a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, why don't you introduce yourself? And up front, this is all getting recorded, and it'll go on our podcast. It's called Tour de Cons. Tour, D-E, cons.
Plural.
Got it? Yes.
All right.
So we'll put the interviews up on there. We put interviews with artists and writers all the time. Oh, that's perfect. What an idea. At some point, I'll run and grab another mic so we can actually make this a little easier. So why don't we start out with, go ahead and go around, give your name, give your social media, and then we'll get into some questions. But go ahead and go around. Let me go grab a cable.
All right. I should be kicking off? Yeah, I think it's you. All right, kicking it off. Hi, I'm Rich Perez. I'm with Tango Comics, and I am the writer, creator, publisher, all that fun stuff. And you can see us at our website at www.tangocomics.com, Facebook, Twitter, Tango Comics.
Okay, I'm Zach Lehner. I'm the illustrator of the graphic novel series Junior Braves of the Apocalypse from Oni. I can be found at my website, zlehner.com. You can also find me at LehnerZach at Instagram. Or on Twitter at ZLehner. To find Junior Braves information, you can find Junior Braves 65 on Facebook.
Ooh, it's working.
It's
Is
hot,
that good?
yeah.
It's hot. It's good to go. I'm Rebecca Rothschild. You're going to have to bear with me. I do a lot of things. I guess I'll start. I'm the editor-in-chief of SugarGamers.com. That is basically we're a news outlet. We're all about inclusivity in the geek and gaming spaces. So you'll see a lot of my handiwork covering cons and cool stuff like that. I am a writer. I'm a narrative designer on Mutant Football League, which is a game that just came out. We just got our Dynasty Edition physical editions, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam, and Switch, which is the big one, so we're really excited about that. I also do comics, which is why I'm here. Do the webcomic Shiro and Vex. I've been doing that for 3 years, shiroandvex.com. It's hilarious. It's about a hero and a villain who are roommates. My other comic is Warshiner, which is essentially Prohibition in space. If you like sci-fi and alcohol, that's really cool. And I'm also a music reviewer at Divide and Conquer Music. So, like I said, a lot of jobs.
I'm Xane Daniel, and I am the producer and writer for the comic book series Righteous. You can find it at righteouscomic.com. I was in the video game industry for 22 years, so I have lots of experience with storytelling and that sort of thing. And so I was compelled to create this story, which is essentially a greedy corporate analyst contracts a supernatural disease that forces him to help others and not make money for himself anymore. And every time he helps someone, they get it too. So you can find me on all the Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff as Righteous Comic.
And before you go on, Xane also has a Kickstarter going right now, which is really great. He's doing well. You're at about 50%, you said. You got 16 days to go. It is totally worth, if you do any crowdfunding, you help people out, first of all, you should. Even throwing a buck in makes a huge difference, because if everybody in this room threw a buck in, suddenly we're at $10. But it makes a big difference to get this stuff out there.
Yeah.
So support Xane's Kickstarter. One way you can find it, I just posted a thing with a link at Geekin' Out, Geek, the letter N, out on Facebook. We highlight, so that you guys all know too, when you have a Kickstarter, make sure I know, and I'll highlight it. Thank you. And then it puts the links and everything, and that seems to do pretty well. And we're going to add that to our blog too. So,
Cool.
So there you go. Definitely. Yeah. And check it out. He's got his books over there, too.
So, yeah, it ends November 16th, and I've got another domain set up that goes to it that is righteous-crowdfund.com.
Perfect. Excellent. So, let's chat. I figure why not, right? We got some of that social media out, and if anybody has questions, feel free to interrupt, because that's what we're going to do. Let's start here, because I didn't know you were in the video game industry, but I know you are. So what did you do in video games?
Okay. So I was a producer, and I worked for High Voltage Software for my entire career.
Okay.
So we're a developer, so we're working with the larger end publishers from Microsoft to EA to everybody in between.
Okay. And you produced specific games, like game lines, or was it just kind of like you're a line producer and you're doing...
Yeah, whatever they got at that time. So, I worked on Hunter the Reckoning, was probably one of my favorite titles that I worked on. That was for the first Xbox. I worked on the Saints Row series. I worked on Mortal Kombat a little bit.
Do you know I never played the Saint Row series until maybe 8 months ago, and I had them because you buy your stack of shame, and like I still have Atari games I haven't played. I swear to God. So I have Saints Row. I have a couple of them. I played. What's the one with the purple cover? 3? 3.
No, I think it's 4. But anyway, go ahead.
She says it's 3. You're wrong, Zane. Oh my God, I loved it. It's ridiculous. And I told you, I'm like with shooters, I get kind of like, I like to ride on a train and nothing to happen on my games. Or Pet Fish. I love those games. Oh my God, that game is crazy.
You should try No Man's Sky, because the biggest complaint about that game was that nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
You would get totally into it, though. You just fly from planet to planet, and
oh my God.
It'd be explore. It'd be very much up your alley.
But see, you know what's funny? It's only when I'm in like school or in an intense creative thing that I have to play that type of game. The rest of the time, I'm like, let's be aggressive and do all these things.
Yeah.
But
it's cool. I forgot that actually High Voltage worked on Mortal Kombat, because I worked on Mortal Kombat X. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Zane and I actually have a lot in common. We've been spit up and chewed out by the game industry, and we're very jaded about it. But we have fond memories somewhere.
When we had that first, we were talking about earlier Micro-Cons, and the one that we had, there was a guy here who...
Yeah, he.
We can't say his name though.
We have to be careful about it. But he also worked on. You said you worked on Injustice 2, and he worked on that as well. So there's.
But he couldn't tell anything. It was all this secret stuff.
And I'll say this: the NDA that you sign for WB is it's like a New Testament. So that's probably why.
Well, I've got a guy
mystery man
who wants to come out here who does, his art is so great. I don't want to tell you what series he works on because even that might blow something, but his art's amazing, and he got hired to do art for one of the big profile series. And offline, he was telling me about the NDA. Holy cow. He told me about a meeting where...
I think I know who this is.
They had a group of people sitting there, and one of the guys had done an interview and just let something minor slip.
Doesn't matter.
And he said they're all sitting in this table, and the guy says, like, the main guy stands up. It's like in a movie. Like the guy running the meeting, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and oh by the way, we saw your thing in. We saw you mention the name of the game in Rolling Stone. You're fired." It was like,
yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, to an extent, but I do want to say NDAs are kind of important for a few different reasons. A good example that kind of ticked me off. There was a Mortal Kombat convention, God knows where. Or no, it was a convention of some kind.
Mortal Kombat convention?
Well, actually, Galloping Ghost Arcade usually does one. Combat Con was canceled this year, but they will do it. Mortal Kombat does have this fan base. It's constant. It's not massive, but it's definitely like thick enough that they can maintain their own fandom.
Really?
So one of the original motion capture guys, Carlos Pacina, mentioned in an interview, and he said because there was no Mortal Kombat presence this year at E3, and that kind of had fans alarmed and pissed off. They actually made a grave site for Mortal Kombat outside E3, and it was kind of brilliant. But the thing is like he said, "Oh well,
did they think it was finished?"
So I don't know what they thought, but the thing is that he first of all he dropped that a new title was in development, which hadn't been announced. He also, and they were like, oh, and then they were like, oh, well, how come they weren't at E3? And he just goes off, so well, they couldn't get the game to work, and da da da, and
oops.
And it's like, first of all,
don't say that.
And the way he said it, though, it was undermining an entire studio. Now, I didn't have a great experience in NetherRealm, I'm not gonna lie. However, I would never say don't buy a NetherRealm game because there's a lot of amazing people that work there and they bust their ass.
Yep.
So you just undercut an entire studio of people saying they couldn't get their shit together, which is BS. And
this is something
that's rude.
Because I do stuff with like film and stage. I deal with this all the time with people because people are so quick to be like, oh, I didn't like this DC movie, so everything DC is garbage, and there's all this toxicity, and you're like, wait a minute. There are a lot of people that are very passionate, that are professionals, that are working really hard. They don't want to put out a piece of garbage. Wait, can we talk about DC
movies for a minute? Because I have to stand by Henry Cavill to the end as my Superman. I'm not going to lie. I don't think Snyder should have had a Superman film, period.
But you loved Henry Cavill.
I have to recommend everyone follows Henry Cavill on Instagram. One, he has a Rescue Akita dog who's this big, floofy, bear-looking dog, and his name is Cal.
Okay,
because
so
Superman.
you're winning me over.
Also, Henry Cavill is English. However, he's a Kansas City fan. Why? Because where's Clark Kent from? Hello. Also, this man's workout videos are adorable because not only does he do like hyper terrifying CrossFit stuff, he does it with like the most adorable, happy smile on his face. He's happy to do it and
I like
share
adorable
it with you.
in my CrossFit videos.
He also, fun fact, he was a dog walker and invited one of his old clients to go see Man of Steel. And as soon as he saw her, he walked up to her and he's like, "Oh, how are you? How's Buddy?" Immediately asking after her dog. So this is a sweet, sweet, adorable man. And so I will stand by him. I think.
Is he done as Superman? Have they announced
I think
it?
that's BS.
There was some brouhaha about it, but I don't think it's ever been confirmed or been like
There's brouhaha about the whole
exactly.
thing.
I'm one of the few people that will say I was not offended by Dawn of Justice in any way. And that drives people crazy. So I love fighting that uphill battle. But it's not King Lear. It's not an amazingly poetic movie. But I actually like Batfleck. I think he's hot. I love his like salt and pepper, goddamn Batman attitude. Gal Gadot's adorable, and I don't understand anyone who's mad at her. I think she's super cute. And obviously, I like
Gal
Henry
Gadot.
Cavill.
Yeah, she's great.
She's amazing. So yeah, it was weird. I left the theater for Dawn of Justice in but I'm a Frank Miller, Alan Moore reader, and I realized if you're not in that camp,
you're
really
not
mad at that
happening with
movie.
Yeah,
They nuked Soups like so mean.
So Zach, do you have a workout video that you look
Zach.
super cute in?
No, not really. I mean, wow, that's a hard question to follow up.
So you've got a new volume of Junior Braves.
Yes, there is someone in the room reading it right now.
Yes.
So I can't there's kind of a
She's kind of a celebrity too,
She gets enough
which is
publicity.
pretty cool street cred for your book.
So there's kind of a whammy at the end of it, and I can't. So I have to I'm not under NDA, but I have to kind of keep my lips sealed a little bit.
Sure.
But I am very excited for people to read it. There's obviously a lot of time and effort went into it, but I'm also really proud of what we did on it, and I'm also really, really proud of the work we're starting to do on book 3, because we're really starting to book 2 kind of finally puts the boys in a situation where they have no recourse other than each other, which we've been building to for a while. And book 3, we're really starting to get into
Book 3 is when it turns to the Donner Party.
Kind of.
Yes. Spoiler.
So what is the key demographic you think for the book, for your guys' book?
That would be Rich. It's so easy. When you have to do the demographic, we can slice it right to Rich. So that's what I've done with all the podcasts, which is why we have no listeners. We just have Rich. But I've made it very targeted.
Those of you listening might not be able to see it, but Rich is very approving of this attitude.
Rich is my buddy. Rich and I sat next to each other playing D&D for about a year, and the abuse was incredible between the two of us. We are forever bonded. So, yeah, it doesn't end even on the podcast. So, Junior Braves, they are now forced to...
Oh, wait, have we mentioned the full title of the books?
Junior Braves of the Apocalypse.
Yeah. I don't know if I just want to make sure we did that. I think you did.
It's funny because when we got it the first time, when we first met you and we bought it, Molly, of course, inhaled it. And then afterwards was like, oh, my God, when is book 2 coming out? Oh, my God. And we've been waiting.
Yeah,
and then today
I've
when
kept
you came
you guys,
in, she's like, I know I'm not supposed to spend all my money, but he just took it.
Solid investment.
But Nana was here, so we didn't spend our money. Yay, Nana.
There you go.
So, yeah, she's been enjoying it over there.
Which makes me very happy. To answer your question about demographics, because I don't think we got to that, I like to say that Junior Braves is for mature 10-year-olds on up. It's kind of that judgment call where,
we're out.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, all the way up. All the way up. All the way up.
We're still out.
It's, it's funny, a couple years ago when the book first came out, one of the ways that I like to promote, like, because I'm not a huge convention guy. I'll do them. I don't I'm perfectly comfortable at them. But like the way I like to promote, if I can, is I'll like visit schools and libraries and I'll teach classes.
Yeah.
And like that's more fun for me. It's easier to sustain. And like it's also, not to be mercenary, but it's a guaranteed sale because then like the library buys a bunch of them.
Creatives should never be ashamed of trying to make money because
No.
we are the last ones to get paid. So you have absolute props for that.
Absolutely, man.
So a couple years ago, like when the book first came out, I was like reaching out to all these local schools, and there was this one of them in Evanston that like was really enthusiastic.
Which
and
is
then,
where we grew up.
yes, actually, that fun fact.
Fun fact.
Rebecca and I actually went to the same school when we were kids. We just learned today.
I like looked at his face and I had like immediate flashback. I had it kind of rough in my childhood, but it's not his fault at all. He was perfectly innocent.
That's
but
good.
But what's funny is
You
he said the
know.
same thing earlier, that he had it rough, but he said it was your fault.
Definitely
So-
wasn't. No, I didn't become like the darkness that I am until about high school when I got sick of it. But yeah, I looked at his face and I was like, holy sh!
In spite of the enormous beard eating my face.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's still weird.
It's a small world. It's weird. Anyway.
Are we
But
going to
no,
have beard
actually-
talk now? Because I could talk beards with you, too.
I don't know
I
enough
have
to
to
talk
say,
about
Zach
it. I
is
just
kind of
grow
bringing
it.
his A game today.
I don't know. I just like it just happened. It was almost an accident.
So you were in Evanston.
Yes. Actually, no, but this ties into that because so I was reaching out to I think it was Shoot. Do you remember
Shoot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got this I got this teacher who was really excited and really into it, and then she read the book, which is a zombie book where people get violently murdered, and she was like, "Nah, we can't do this." Like, and so, but then like a couple days ago, I got in not a couple days ago, like a couple weeks ago, I went and I did this whole I presented to an entire class of 8th graders at Nichols, which is another school in the same
Middle
district.
school's such a tough demographic.
Right,
Ugh.
that Rebecca and I grew up in, and it was something like 200 kids, and they didn't have a problem with it.
Well, of course not.
Right. So it's
Of
just
course not. I mean, you've targeted that audience exactly.
Oh, yeah,
it's the once again, it's going to be people that are a little older, maybe don't understand, don't think that way. I mean, I run into it even with what we do. You know, as soon as we say we're podcasting, I run into people that are like, "Oh, then there must be a lot of swearing." I'm like, "She's 11."
right.
To be fair,
And
you
there
let
is.
Molly read my stuff, and there is a lot of swearing.
And Molly, does it bother you? No, we talked about Warshiner, about how cool it is.
Oh man, thank you.
So yeah, I love Warshiner.
Working on it. I swear I'm getting another issue.
I love
sometime
Righteous too.
soon.
We're going to talk about Righteous in a minute too.
Yeah.
I love the work of all four of you. I mean, absolutely.
I feel
legit
like you're
love.
a little biased.
I do.
Because we're
No, but-
always on your podcast.
Dude, don't you?
No,
It.
I'm not. I'm not, because if I didn't like it, I would dodge it.
The artful dodge.
Yeah. If I say I actually legitimately like it, I legitimately like it, and I usually can focus on certain things. Like, I'm not going to name a name. I don't like this person's story at all, but I really no. But
It's
I
definitely
really
rich,
like
don't-
the artwork that their partner does. So I always talk about that. I
Gotcha.
I promote the book without talk, but I really like everything about the books from all of you guys. Legit.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
appreciated.
Zane's book is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Righteous is rad. I like it.
Righteous is
I'm going to
cool.
hand this over
Thank
to you, buddy.
Yeah, before we come back to Rich, I want to talk about Righteous for a minute. Okay. So when we met recently.
Yeah.
And I thought Zane was really cool. I didn't know Zane before this. And I thought you were really cool. You were definitely business-minded, so we had some things to talk about.
Right.
And I want to give you first impression.
Okay.
So first impression, I walk up, it says Righteous. And I thought, okay, we've got a faith-based book.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yep.
I said, so what's this? I'm always open. I want to hear what it is. Typically, and you know this, everybody knows this, if you say it's a faith-based book, it's going to put a certain impression in your mind. Correct. Immediately, Zane starts telling me this story, and I went, heck yeah, that's an idea. And it was right. I read that book, and I was like, this is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
You know, that's a problem in any medium.
Right.
And it's not, I'm not just talking faith-based, I'm talking if if you stick to, you can get stuck in an echo chamber that you can't get out of. If you can take something like, in your case, you went, here's the concept, here's the message I want to deliver, and I'm going to make it cool, that's when you get something magic.
Right.
And that's why I love it so much. I think it's really cool.
Well, thank you. And, it's definitely been interesting because I did choose the name Righteous, which has a connotation, of course, associated with it. And a lot of times it can even be a negative connotation because people think self-righteous.
Right.
And they apply it to that.
Right.
So I knew that I was already stepping into a difficult scenario by calling it that. But I really like it because the actual definition of the word works so well for what the comic is all about. And so
Totally.
I was willing to overlook that difficulty that I knew that I was going to have.
Now, did you go into it with the concept that, like, this is going to be faith-based, I'm trying to spread a message, or did you go like, no, I've got a great idea, and this is what it's playing in? Because I read it that way.
Oh, yeah. No, there is no faith-based element to this at all.
Okay, then I'm right. I'm reading it correctly. Because you never know. I might be like, well, Rob, you had a stroke. This is actually, this is only New Testament. Really?
Right. No, it has nothing to do with that. It really, I mean, like I said, it is about a greedy corporate analyst who can't be greedy anymore.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And it's an opportunity to explore our society and the rules of our society and the economics of this society and say, wait a minute, are we really doing this right? Could we do this better?
Yeah.
So I have a question, just because we're both in two similar fields. What from your game career were you able to pull over into comics, if anything?
If he says greedy, corporate, awful, no.
No, right.
Comes natural.
Yeah.
I knew where Rebecca was going.
A little bit of that. But from a development standpoint, certainly working with lots of artists, as a producer in the video game industry, that I'm always working with artists, designers, programmers, audio personnel, that sort of thing. So I definitely got familiar with that process and giving critique. And I wasn't always the one giving the critique. I was working with great art directors too, and I got to observe what they saw and what they did and how they expressed what they were seeing. So lots of great experience. And I really actually feel like most of the experiences that I've had in my life led me to this comic, because as a child I always loved certainly comic books, but even more so like movies and things that were based on the actual reality with one element of the supernatural. So I loved like the movie Big, and then I loved the movie Liar Liar, which this book is very similar to, really. And there's lots of things like that where we take our everyday world and we just add one element of the supernatural, and so it just worked.
Yeah, well, I think it works great. I think it's really cool. I like the artwork quite a bit in it, too.
Thank you.
I can't remember. Do you do the artwork?
No, I do not. So I hire that out. Joseba Morales is on the Canary Islands in Spain, and he does that. And it's kind of funny because we have never actually spoken to each other. It's all digital. It's all email.
Do you know we've had at least one time on one of these roundtables that we had the first meeting of people like that, where they're like, we've been writing together for,
Right. Yeah, I've been working with Joseba for maybe 2.5 years now on this series. I mean, we're almost we just started working on chapter 10. So there's a lot of back and forth that goes on, and yet we've never actually spoken. I said, hey, let's talk on the phone sometime, or like do some sort of video chat or something. And he's like, my English is so bad you wouldn't even be able to understand me.
Yeah, exactly. And there's artists that I've been working with for 10 years. Never met them. I have a clue what they look like.
Nothing.
But, I mean, it's just been...
Rich, it's called Facebook. You could jump on...
Yeah, but neither one of us want to do. We're just antisocial by design. But, he wants to do his work. I do mine.
Right.
We collaborate in the middle, check some thoughts. He translates my words, and off we go.
Yeah. Well, yours is interesting because with Tango Comics, Rich is the main writer on Tango Comics. Does anyone else write? Other than, like, you did that anthology, people did stuff.
We have 2 additional writers. I'm one of the more constant writers. I'd like to take some
because
of that
I think
you did
off
an
my shoulders.
anthology.
Yeah.
It's been one of my dreams to work at Tango. and you didn't even invite me. I see how it is.
Well, the door is still ajar, so.
No, I
You
just
can't
kicked it
even
open.
come with me to Public House
I just
tonight,
kicked it open.
so-
You need to hire Rebecca. She's awesome.
Just saying.
We'll talk.
Dream Crusher.
Dream crusher. Well, and actually, I like
Well
Rich's
played.
writing quite a bit.
Rich is a really good writer.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
is.
Thank
I actually want to convert his stuff into like radio play because we do live radio stuff. And actually, that's
It's
something
ready.
that anybody interested with you guys, anyone that wants to experiment with that, I'm down. We started a show with these guys. They're called Pocket Universe. They do really super high end. With them, I've had so many discussions about how to do this. We've talked about doing it live here. We've talked about doing it live downtown. So anyone that wants to experiment with that, it's just another medium. That's the thing about new media. You're going to know this. So you start your comic. If you just, well, you know it for sure. If you just do a comic, great. If you do a comic and it has an audio element, you can make a little video element, you can make an Instagram, all of a sudden your world gets bigger and bigger and bigger because that's the way the world works right
Absolutely.
now. When we say we're a podcast network, that's a big lie. That's why we called it a media company, even though everything's rooted in podcasting. We've created, 1,400 videos on YouTube. I full-time do Instagram. Everything has... multiple facets, multiple ways to do it. The initial thing is rooted in comics. My initial thing is rooted in podcasting. But like Descent of the Dead, I am ready. So by next year, we are making a live stage read out of Descent of the Dead. Yeah.
It's almost ready.
It'll be ready.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ready to do. We're going to do it.
I got one radio play for you already.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Black Zombie.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did you send it to me?
Yes.
I might
it's there.
I might have put spam on it because it was you. But yeah, cool.
Well, uncan it, have at
I
it.
will, man. Let's do it.
Right now.
Right now. So, what else you guys want to talk about?
I completely forgot to announce, and I have to. I haven't announced on any podcast yet. This
Oh.
is my first announcement. I have a new IP that I'm working on. I announced it on Twitter with artist Mel Montezuma. We are doing this comic called Decked Up. Ink is dry in the contract. She's working on it right now.
Nice.
So it's based on a weird side hobby of mine. It's kind of passed down through the family, I guess. On the side, because I'm a writer, nobody pays me, and it's hard to get gigs, I would do tarot card readings.
Uh-huh.
And I used to do this since high school. I made a fortune off my study hall teacher. But for the record, I don't think I'm psychic. I think I'm a con woman. That's so... spoiler alert.
I like her already.
Just for entertainment purposes. But a lot of weird shit happens to me when I do this, so we decided to do a comic about it, and it gets a little... And
I'm all in.
yeah.
This sounds awesome.
So Mel Montezuma is an incredible artist. She's just super... I met her through the Chicago Creative Collaboratives, which is a really cool group in Chicago. Josh Gilly and all that. Gilly Man's kind of like the head of it, so I feel I should shout out
I think I
to
know
him.
those guys.
They are really cool. If you ever get a chance to do Artist Block, which is at Maria's Packaged Goods, which is an amazing place, which is attached to Kimski, which is some of the best Polish, Korean fusion food you'll ever have by Juan Kim, who is also an artist and DJ.
I said, you're like,
yeah.
can we go?
Can I? You guys I really recommend, if any art, even if you're not, because I'm not an artist, but I go there to stalk artists, and that's where, it's through that crew, I found Mel. And I remember I was hanging, we were at the Green Eye Lounge, though, for some other event that was adjacent to what those guys, Gilly and all them, do. And we were at the Green Eye Lounge, and I was looking at everybody's notebooks and just kind of working on my novel because I ran out of comic book art money. And next to me is Mel, and she has actual panels in her notebook. Now, most artists I know, it's very, you don't see, like Rich knows, you don't see panels in artists a lot. It's more like, so as soon as I saw it, I had to reel myself in, not freak out, but I was super excited. And I just introduced myself. I was like, that's really cool. Do you want to do comics? She's like, I'm dying to do comics. I was like, we're going to be friends. And she's just one of those artists on so many levels. She likes drawing hands. If you know anything about Liefeld, limbs are not an artist.
Feet and hands.
Limbs are not most artists are oh, she loves hands, which is great because So when I was talking about what
You mean
she
she
wanted
doesn't
to draw,
just put a cloud over everything?
right, or a stocking.
Yeah.
You know what? This tarot card reader wears mittens. It's great.
Yeah. Well,
But like she, so the best way I've gotten good success with comics, especially like what I do with Erica with Shiro and Vex, is that I kind of like got a vibe from her, and I kind of built the story around her art style and what she likes, and so that's what's been going really well. So I wanted to do the same thing with Mel because this is her first comic.
Sure.
So I wanted it to be something she was invested in, and so I was like, "Oh, what are your interests? What are you into?" She's like, "I don't know. I've been like studying tarot for a little bit," and I'm like, "Oh boy," I was like, "Do I have stories
your
for
wheelhouse.
you?" I was like,
So, okay, I got a question about that. So you're
Yeah.
writing this book about tarot. Is it completely fiction, or are you taking your stories and converting
there's
them?
a little bit. There's a few cool things that I'm excited. One of the things I really wanted to do. So it's a female lead named Monica, but every amazing I've worked with so many incredible Latino women artists. They just, I don't know, I don't stalk them, I don't fetish. It's just,
Sure you
these
don't.
are the women who get shit done.
Yeah.
And they happen to fall into my life. So this time I wanted to do an homage to all the cool Latino chicks I work with. Like the reason I know how to put on makeup, the reason I know like what the hell to eat or what coquito is or anything is because those Latino women are in my life. So it's like, and it was awesome that Mel is also Latina, and I was like, okay, so you won't, so I was like, and I asked her, I said, do you identify as this? Do you want to do this? She's like, yeah. And I was like, cool. I want to represent, all my friends into one cool character. She lives in this neighborhood in Dallas. I don't know if you've ever been to Dallas, but I got really inspired by the neighborhood Deep Ellum because it's like the Wicker of Dallas, like Wicker Park of Dallas. Very
Okay.
hipster, very niche, but it has a screwed up history. Like, weird stuff has gone down in Deep Ellum. I suggest you read articles. It's bizarre. But
I will after this.
It is one of the coolest places in Dallas. I recommend you go. It's a cool little pocket of Texas that people don't talk about.
You know, it's funny because we did our podcast marathons and we did this women one. So I had some women podcasters from Dallas that wanted to be in it. And then at the last minute, they're like, oh, my gosh, we can't afford to travel to Chicago. Can you please bring it here? So we're actually talking about
So I'm going to be in Dallas.
big pocket of women podcasters in Dallas
I'm going to
that
be in
want us
Dallas
to do it. So
this February. So if you need
we
help
won't be
doing
together
that
that quickly.
Oh, well, can I
because
go
you gotta
down
have
and
time
meet
to
them?
market stuff, you know?
Well, can I go down and meet them and be?
Yeah, I can see who I can hook you up with.
Yeah,
the
that'd be
one does
super
one
fun.
about like true crime, does a podcast about true
Ooh.
crime, and
Yeah,
I listen to
Deep
the show and I'm
Ellum
like,
has crazy
I'm
true
like,
crime
this
stories.
is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So shout out to those ladies.
Okay, I got another question then. You've
Yeah.
been talking about anthologies. This is for all of you.
Oh, you mean like the one I wasn't in or invited to?
Yeah, the
do?
one that Rich did. Let's all
Yeah.
shame him. Somebody get the bell. Shame. Ding.
Wow.
So
I'm undressed. All right.
well, so I had an idea years ago, and I still want to do it,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to do it. I want to do an anthology that is very specific. So I was inspired. You guys ever read the comic Duplex Planet?
No.
Not familiar
Sounds
with it.
fabulous.
It's amazing. It was, so this guy, the guy who made this comic, what he did was he worked in a nursing home. It's not Rage. He worked in a nursing home. He doesn't
Sure.
live in one either. It's not Rage. And Rage is on Tango Comics. So he's not here. He's going to take the barbs.
He looks old, but he's not.
So what what this guy did was he worked there, and he had a little pocket recorder, and these old people that were losing faculties would tell him stories. He recorded them. He would write exactly what they said and illustrate it.
Awesome.
It was the most fascinating book because some of them were completely coherent. You're reading it like, this is the love story of her and her husband, but this was 90 years ago. And you'd be like, oh. And then the next one would be
That's
like,
cool.
and the Nazis had wings coming out of their eyeballs. And you're like, what is this?
What is your medication cocktail, sir?
So I was completely obsessed with this comic. And they did like 3 issues, but I've never forgotten it. So I had this idea to take UFO stories. Because
Yes!
you meet people that have these UFO stories. So I had this idea. I was going to do it. I was going to.
Okay.
Okay. So all
see
I
where
wanted
you're
to do
going.
was take their
I'm in.
story
All right.
and write the story
Rich is down.
as they said, and have somebody illustrate it. Whether it's a single panel, you know, like what's his name?
Oh, the
8 Ball.
America. Oh, yeah.
8 Ball. What's his name? Klaus. Like I can see like a panel, like him taking a story of somebody's UFO story and doing this, or whether it's a comic or whatever it is, but tell their story. Try not to pass judgment on it, right? So here's the crazy thing. This was a thing that I thought of back in like '89, right? And I started asking people, like, hey, I'm doing this project. And you know, like 50% of the people I ran into that I said it to pulled me aside and said, I have a story. I heard so many freaking crazy stories.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him out on
believe it, yeah.
My dad had 2. I've never seen anything.
Dude, I wish. Like, I love Alien. Like, me and my husband
Me
were
too.
talking because we were just, okay, when we die, we want to have our remains, like, shot up into space. And I said, wouldn't it be like, so, till death do you part, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we want to respark the marriage again. So I said, what if we get launched into space and then, like, 2 different species of aliens reanimate us, and then we're on, like, opposite sides of an intergalactic space war? Like, that would be, I think, a great
Very
way.
tragic.
But like, yeah, but like
cool,
a
though.
great way to just kind of like, you know, relight the flame at that point. That could be
In
fun.
battle.
So I want to do this.
Romeo and Juliet story.
I want to do this anthology thing. So I think we need to figure out a way to do this.
It's pretty easy, man. You got to get a bunch of amazing artists, and Zach will know more because he's an artist.
Well, I don't know about that part, but I mean, with the network that you have, you could probably just set up a generalized Facebook thing with people. Like, in fact, with the network that you have, you don't have to put out a call. You can just ask a bunch of people if they're interested personally,
And try to put something together.
right? And
I
then
just think that would be cool, don't you?
Yeah.
Be
What the
very
hell?
cool.
you could.
You're in. Okay, we got one.
Rich is sold.
Rich is sold. He's an easy sale.
He's a slut.
I didn't say it.
As resident labia possessor at this table, I'm allowed to say it. So
That's right.
I'm going to use my rights. He's not denying it at all.
But you also don't know you're the only one.
The man has a point.
Zach keeps trying to say something.
Well, no, like you brought up a logistical printing question, which is that's my game. So now I'm like all like,
Lit up.
yeah, exactly. So like what you're gonna have, like you reach out, you find folks who want to do it. You're gonna need to figure out how you're gonna get it printed because you're gonna need to like build like you're probably gonna want to print a lot of these because you do a lot of conventions.
Yeah, I never have anything to sell at conventions, so we go to things and we never have anything. I have a podcaster book coming out soon.
There you go.
And it's really awesome. So I'm like, I should probably have a couple of things. I think we're done. I want you guys to give your social media again because when I cut this, I'll put this at the end again. Let's start with Xane and we'll work our way around and mention your Kickstarter.
Okay, so the Kickstarter ends November 16th. We're 55% of the way there. The ask for is $5,000, but we're selling volumes 1 and 2 and lots of fun reward tiers, like all the good reward tiers. Like you can be in the comic, you can be a producer, you can be an executive producer, all that good fun stuff. And so you can find that as righteous-crowdfund.com, and then I'm Righteous Comic on every social media thing that you can find. Righteous Comic, all one word.
And also, if you follow Geeks or Geeking Out, I've got so many things. If you follow Geeking Out, we did put it as a featured crowdfunder. You can follow the links from that too.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So I don't think I did any of my social media except for ShironVex.com. We know it's the webcomic. SugarGamers.com. Read my articles. You can find me on Twitter at @rbonksr. Find me on Instagram at Rothschild Rebecca. I think that's it. Oh, and look out for Decked Up, which is coming up this week.
Oh no, I already have a mic.
Oh my.
Haha.
He had it in his pocket. He brought it with him.
So, I as said, I'm Zach Lehner. Most of my stuff can be easily found from the hub of zlehner.com, but you can also find me on Instagram as Lehner Zach. I should spell my last name. No one knows how that goes.
Yeah, right.
It's
L-A-I.
It's Lehner, and then the first name is Z-A-C-H, so Lehner Zach at Instagram. And everywhere else, Twitter, whatever, I'm at Z Lehner. And again, or you can just go to the website, zlehner.com, and that'll take you to most of those. Also, the big claim to fame, the book that I do that I'm very proud of, that I work on all the time, that has a big team-based hub on Facebook at Junior Braves 65 at Facebook. So, not just me, but also the two writers. If you want to get in touch with us, that's the place to do it.
Cool. Very cool. All right, Tango.
All right. Rich Perez, writer, creator, producer, editor, colorist, letterer, all that fun stuff.
All of the above.
All
Dream
the things
crusher.
that nobody wants to do, I get stuck with. I'm part of Tango Comics. You can visit us at tangocomics.com, Facebook, Twitter, Tango Comics.
What's the boys? You've got the boys, too. Where is that?
Oh, that's our Twitter page. That's just
See?
our handle. But it can be the boys and girl, if interested.
About damn time, bro.
But it says the boys on Twitter, so
Yeah,
you
this
should
is-
give that.
The founding members are 4 boys, so yeah.
Yeah.
I get all sorts of questions about why. I'm like,
'Cause
because.
That's what you are, or you were. So
Yeah, so
cool.
4 guys founded. So.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm so glad we
Thank
did
you.
this today. I'm glad you guys forced me to do the podcast too, because this was fun.
It is.
I had a
Thank
good
you.
time. And
thank you.
yeah, people listening, follow everybody here, buy their stuff, support their Kickstarters. Tell your friends. The best thing you can do for an artist or a writer is share their stuff and tell people about it.
yes.
Because even if you don't buy it, guess what? You're going to have a friend in your friends list that's going to be like, Righteous sounds awesome. Or, Tango Comics, oh, look at all the stuff they do. And they're going to buy something. They're going to support these people. And let's face it, I've read enough of the big two. Even though I read them, I like all this indie stuff. And it's what makes it cool. I mean, think about it. Did you guys watch Netflix? Did you watch The End of the Effing World?
Oh, yeah.
What a great show. Do you know where that came from?
Yeah, was it a zine?
It was a
technically?
zine.
Yeah. Oh man, that show's
And
amazing.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know why that happened? Because somebody shared it and somebody read it and somebody went, this is cool. And it made an incredible piece of artwork out of an incredible piece of artwork.
Yep.
I want that to happen to all of you.
Yeah, I want that to happen to all of us, too.
Yeah. All right. I'm done. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone.